From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. This is Dateline Malacañang. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Thursday pledged that the government would do its best to protect and promote workers' rights and welfare. This as he paid tribute to the toil and sacrifices of the Filipino workforce on Labor Day. In his Labor Day message, the President said, "This celebration should be taken as an opportunity to develop concrete steps to meet the needs of every family, ensure safety in the workplace, and protect the right to a better future." President Marcos recognized the Filipino workers' contributions to the country's development as well as their important role in shaping the society. The chief executive assured them that the government is not just an observer of development but also an active partner of the people in creating a new Philippines where society is fair and just. President Marcos Jr. also acknowledged that the development of the country depends on the workers and guaranteed the continuity of the projects to promote their growth and prosperity.
Dateline Malacañang.
Also on Thursday, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. said the nationwide job fairs in 69 areas in the country will run until May 2nd in time for the Labor Day celebration. President Marcos said the simultaneous events are held in Central Luzon, Calabarzon, Western Visayas, Central Visayas, Northern Mindanao, and Davao region. During the 123rd Labor Day celebration at the SMX Convention Center in Pasay City, the President said the administration is not only creating opportunities for more jobs, but is also bringing jobs closer to the people, just like these job fairs. The chief executive noted that from July 2022 to February of 2025, over 4,000 job fairs have been organized in the country where 1 million Filipinos took part and 170,000 were hired on the spot. President Marcos Jr. said there is a one-stop shop at the job fairs to make it easier, faster, and more organized for applicants to get the pre-employment requirements from participating government agencies. The Philippine President stressed that the government is also strengthening the technical vocational livelihood track in senior high schools to ensure that basic education graduates will have certification from the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority or TESDA. President Marcos said the micro-credentialing system in technical vocational education and training was launched in March this year to allow workers to complete short modules and get modular certification even if they have not completed the entire course.
Hindi lang po tayo gumagawa ng mga pagkakataon at oportunidad para sa mas maraming trabaho. Inilalapit din po natin sa ating mga kababayan ang trabaho sa pamamagitan nitong kagaya ng ginagawa natin ngayon ng mga job fair. Bilang selebrasyon ng Araw ng Manggagawa, mula ika-23 ng Abril ay hanggang ika-2 ng Mayo, magsasagawa tayo ng job fair sa 69 na lugar sa buong bansa. Binabati ko po ang mga nakilahok at makikilahok sa mga job fair, lalo na sa iyong mga Region 3, Region 4A, Region 6, Region 7, 10 at 11 at sa lahat po ng mga kasama natin ngayon. Mahigpit kong naging tagubilin sa kalihim ng paggagawa ang siguruhing na buwan-buwan magdaraos tayo ng job fair upang mas marami pang mabigyan ng trabaho. Mula Hunyo ng 2022 hanggang Pebrero ngayong taon, mahigit 4,000 job fair ang naisagawa. 1,000,000 Pilipino ang nakilahok at halos 170,000 ang hired on the spot doon sa mga job fair. Sa mga job fair naman ngayon, sa taon na ito, naglagay na rin tayo ng itinatawag naming one-stop shop. Nandito na yung BIR, NBI, PSA, PRC, SSS, Pag-ibig, PhilHealth, upang magbigay ng mga clearance at sertipiko para sa inyong pag-a-apply. Pinadali, pinabilis at pinaayos. Batid din po natin na mahalagang maging matatag ang pundasyon ng ating mga manggagawa. Sinisimulan na natin ang pagpapalakas ng Technical Vocational Livelihood Track sa ating senior high school. Layunin nito na siguraduhin na ang mga graduate ng mga siguraduhin ng mga graduate ng basic education ay magkakaroon ng TESDA certification at makakapagtrabaho kung gugustuhin nila. Nitong Marso, inilunsad din ng TESDA ang tinatawag na micro-credentialing system sa TVET. Sa sistemang ito, maaaring makumpleto ng ating mga manggagawa ang maiiksing tinatawag na module at makakakuha na ng modular na certification kahit hindi pa natapos sa buong kurso. Pwede po nilang ipunin ang mga sertifikasyon upang maging bihasa na siya naman ay magbibigay daan para sa mas magandang trabaho.
That was Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. said the government would improve the country's critical infrastructure to improve the commuting experience of Filipino workers. During the 123rd Labor Day celebration at the SMX Convention Center in Pasay City, the President said the government must ease the transit burdens on Filipinos commuting to work. President Marcos noted the extension of the operating hours for the Metro Rail Transit 3 or MRT3 and Light Rail Transit 1 or LRT1 to bring relief to commuters. The chief executive added that the number of the LRT2's operational train sets has increased to 10 from the previous 6 or 7. President Marcos Jr. said the government is also making sure that elevators and escalators at all train stations are in good condition. The Philippine President said the government is eyeing the completion of the MRT-7, the North-South Commuter Railway, the Metro Manila Subway, and EDSA Busway Improvement Project to make travel more comfortable and faster for every Filipino.
Araw-araw, milyon-milyon sa ating mga kababayan ay kailangang gumising ng maaga upang bumiyahe patungo sa kanilang trabaho. Hangad namin na mas marami kayong oras sa pamilya, hindi naman nasasayang na nakapila lamang. Kaya naman, sa MRT3, nagdagdag tayo ng mga bagong pinahaba natin ang mga NR3, pinaayos natin ang air conditioning na sistema at pinahaba ng 1 oras ang operasyon tuwing Lunes hanggang Biyernes. Sa LRT2 naman, pinarami natin ang bilang ng mga tinatawag na train set mula sa dating 6 hanggang 7 na ngayon ay magiging 10 na. Siniguro din natin na maayos ang ating mga elevator at escalator sa lahat ng linya ng tren. Inatasan ko rin ang DOTR na magbigay ng libreng sakay mula kahapon hanggang sa 3 ng Mayo sa MRT3, LRT1 at LRT2. Upang gawing mas komportable at mas mabilis ang pagbiyahe ng bawat Pilipino, tinatapos na rin po natin yung MRT7 at ginagawa na natin yung North-South Commuter Railway, Metro Manila Subway at EDSA Busway Improvement Project. Ito ay malalaking proyekto upang mapabilis po ang tinatawag na commute dahil nakikita po natin, nakakalungkot na kuminsan ay dumadaan tayo sa iba't ibang, halimbawa sa mga C5, sa mga EDSA, alas 12 na madaling araw na, 12:30 na ng madaling araw, nag-aantay pa rin ng sasakyan. Ito po ang ating gagawing solusyon para hindi na natin nakikita at kagaya ng aking nasabi, ang ating mga manggagawa ay masamahan naman ang kanilang mga pamilya.
That was Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meantime, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. said the calls for a wage increase in the private sector must be carefully studied. This as the president raised the potential impact of the proposal on the Philippine economy, businesses, and the labor sector. During the 123rd Labor Day celebration at the SMX Convention Center in Pasay City, the chief executive said the regional tripartite wages and productivity boards continue to study the wage levels in each region. President Marcos assured the workers of his administration's commitment to protecting and advancing their welfare while promoting inclusive economic development. The president noted that 16 regions in the Philippines have already implemented wage increases since June of 2024.
Sa usapin naman ng pagtaas ng sweldo, masarap pakinggan ang matatamis na mga pangako. Ngunit ang mga ito ay may epekto sa paglago ng negosyo, trabaho at ekonomiya. Kaya't kailangan na pag-aralan natin ng mabuti. We hear the call of our workers for better wages and assure you that your concerns are being addressed through the regional tripartite wages and productivity boards. The government stands firm in its commitment to protecting and advancing workers' welfare while promoting inclusive economic development. Patuloy na pinag-aaralan ng mga regional tripartite wages and productivity board ang antas na pasahod sa bawat rehiyon. Simula Hunyo ng nakaraang taon, 16 na rehiyon sa Pilipinas ay nakapagpatupad ng dagdag sahod na. Sa kabuuan, 28 wage order na ang naaprubahan. Nais natin tiyakin ang inyong kapakanan, hindi lamang sa ngayon kundi sa pangmatagalan.
That was Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Still on Thursday, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. said Cebu Governor Gwendolyn Garcia must be treated fairly while the legal issues concerning the suspension order against her are not yet resolved. The Office of the Ombudsman ordered Garcia's preventive suspension for 6 months without pay over alleged grave abuse of authority in connection with the issuance of a special permit to Shalom Construction Incorporated in May of 2024 without mandatory clearances from relevant government agencies. In a statement posted on his official Facebook account, the president said, until all legal questions surrounding this suspension are resolved, she deserves to be treated fairly and with the respect owed to her office. President Marcos said any action that affects the mandate of a duly elected official must go through the proper channels and must be under the Constitution and the Omnibus Election Code. The chief executive also emphasized that politics must not get in the way of public service. Garcia, who is running for her third consecutive 3-year term as Cebu governor, defied the ombudsman's order as she questioned the legality of the preventive suspension during the election period. She also questioned the timing of the order, which was issued just days before the May 2025 elections.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Japanese Ministry of Foreign Affairs, or MOFA, expressed hope that the Reciprocal Access Agreement, or RAA, with the Philippines could be ratified once the Diet, or the Japanese Parliament, ends session in June. Speaking to reporters following the two-day official visit of Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba, Japan MOFA spokesperson Toshihiro Kitamura said the military access deal's ratification would be a good step forward to the two states' growing security cooperation. Once it enters into force, the official said, the deal would facilitate joint operations between the two forces, including military drills. In a summit meeting on Tuesday, Ishiba and President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. promised to deepen security cooperation in the context of strengthening deterrence for regional stability. The two leaders agreed to begin negotiations on an Acquisition and Cross-Servicing Agreement, or ACSA, to reinforce operational collaboration as well as facilitate talks on a potential security information deal. The ACSA, Kitamura said, would help with the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Forces refueling needs when participating joint drills with the Philippine Navy. Meanwhile, Kitamura said the possible intelligence sharing deal would help strengthen security cooperation between Tokyo and Manila, but said there is no decision as of yet whether the two states are gearing to concluding one. On top of possible deals, President Marcos and Prime Minister Ishiba agreed to deepen cooperation in maritime safety through base development, capacity improvement support, and joint training between Japan, the Philippines, and the United States. Ishiba's visit to the Philippines from the 29th to the 30th of April comes ahead the two nations' 70th year of normalization of diplomatic ties.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang voiced concern over the arrest of a Chinese national for allegedly carrying surveillance equipment near the main headquarters of the Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, in Manila. In a palace press briefing, Philippine Presidential Communications Office, or PCO Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said, a comprehensive investigation is required following the arrest of another Chinese individual suspected of conducting espionage, surveillance, and reconnaissance operations in the Philippines. She said the palace would await the outcome of the investigation into the matter.
That is an issue of national security, so we will just leave it at that. We will leave it at that, and we will just have an investigation, thorough investigation on that matter. It's quite alarming. It's quite alarming, and that's there is still the president has distrust on the intelligence agents that made the operation. So we will just have to wait for the final investigation on that matter.
The National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, apprehended the Chinese national known as Tak Hoi Lao on his Macau passport on Tuesday for allegedly violating the espionage legislation, the Data Privacy Act, and the Cybercrime Prevention Act. Authorities reportedly took an International Mobile Subscriber Identity, or IMSI, catcher from the suspect's vehicle parked outside the COMELEC building in Intramuros.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. will direct an investigation into the activities of Villar-owned Prime Water Infrastructure Corporation, or PWIC, following alleged service disruptions and exorbitant fees imposed to customers. Presidential Communications Office or PCO Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said this during a palace briefing in Malacañang. This comes after Bulacan officials asked Congress to investigate Prime Water's poor service. Bulacan province locals have also expressed serious dissatisfaction with Prime Water's failure to meet their water needs.
Unang-una po, sinabi po natin na ang kakulangan sa serbisyo ay walang puwang sa administrasyon ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. Ang pangangailangan po ng tao sa malinis na tubig, sapat na supply ng tubig, ay dapat lang po nararapat at hindi pa negosyo lamang, kundi ito ay dapat na kinakalinga ang pangangailangan ng taong bayan. Mag-uutos po ang Pangulo para mag-imbestigahan po ito.
That was Presidential Communications Office Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.